to welcome you all today to our core Creating Age-Friendly Communities in Alberta event. My name is Cindy Wing, and I am with United Way of Calgary and Area. To begin, I would like to do a land acknowledgement as we are fortunate for the opportunity to come together in this virtual community space, and we are doing so from all across the province. In the spirit of our journey to promote reconciliation, I would like to honor the truth of the shared history and acknowledge the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. Mohkinstsis, also known as Calgary, is also home to Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. As we are sharing this virtual space and you're coming from all different territories, I invite you to offer your own land acknowledgements in the chat box. Oops. There we go. Tech issues from the beginning. Way to start. All right. So to make sure that everyone is comfortable, a few housekeeping items are that we have set this up to offer interactivity. So everyone is able to mute and unmute themselves and turn your cameras on and off. Feel free to turn your video on, and if you can, and if you like, give a wave. We ask that you please mute yourself unless you are sharing a comment or question during our guest speaker's presentation. If you experience any technical issues, please private message tech support seen in the participant list and I will assist you. I'd like to draw your attention to the bottom of your screen, participants and chat icons. So if you click the participants icon, you will see the option to raise hand. Later on, this can help us manage the conversation. You're also welcome to use other buttons to communicate, such as thumbs up, yes, no, or clap to express applause for our guest speakers. The chat button, we encourage everyone to use this to share their thoughts, ideas, and questions. We have Carol Ching, policy analyst with Alberta Seniors and Housing, as our chat box moderator today, who will help relay your messages. We can see that people have been sharing their name, location, and organizations already. So if you just joined us, we welcome you to share who you are in the chat box as well. This session will be recorded and the slides will be available as well. They will be uploaded on the Core Alberta platform. So today we are happy to share with you all the establishments of this new core group and provide an overview of the work that is being undertaken by this group. We have our core Alberta age-friendly group leads, Carol Ching, Caroline G from Edmonton Seniors Coordinating Council, and Zhang Mengham from the City of Calgary hosting today. Caroline will be presenting, as well as Sandy Wacker from Innisfail. We have Rob Miyashiro, the Executive Director of Lethbridge Seniors Citizens Organization, who will be discussing core and the community-based senior serving initiative to provide a wider contextualization of the core Alberta age-friendly group. And for the agenda today, so Rob will go over the CBSS and core, and then he will talk about age-friendly. We'll move on to our guest speaker presentations, and then we'll have an extended invite for you all to join these groups on core, and then we'll move along to the question and answer period, and then wrap up and say our goodbyes. So I'll let Rob take it away now. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Cindy, and thank you everybody for being here with us today to talk about a really important topic for those of us involved in the age-friendly movement. For those of you that aren't familiar with Core Alberta and community-based senior serving sector development initiative, I'd like to just give you a brief, about a 10-minute overview about Core and CBSS. So CORE is a part of a larger community-led provincial initiative that focuses on developing a coordinated community-based senior serving sector in Alberta by bringing together community-based organizations around a common vision and framework for action, with the focus on healthy aging in community and supporting seniors to live in their own homes for as long as possible. A strong and structured sector would allow CBSS organizations, which are best positioned to deliver critical services to seniors in the right place and at the right time, to do so in a better coordinated and resourced way, as well as at a larger scale, ultimately enhancing health and well-being outcomes for seniors in the province. The Healthy Aging Core Alberta platform is a member-based digital knowledge and learning hub designed to support this work of coordination and strengthening of the sector by connecting community-based senior serving organizations and their allied partners, and providing a digital space to share knowledge and capacity building opportunities, as well as find and collaborate with others with aligned mandates. CORE is primarily a network and sector building tool aimed at supporting the creation of a connected and coordinated provincial community-based serving sector. This provincial initiative came about as a result of a number of CBSS organizations and government partners jointly recognizing that the lack of a coordinated CBSS sector with which to coalesce at a systems and policy level was posing a challenge. The fragmented nature of the current sector in Alberta hinders the ability for larger systems such as health to collaborate with the CBSS sector as a whole and create investment and service delivery efficiencies that will result in large-scale positive change for older adults. Based on this, in the winter of 2019, the CBSS Sector Engagement Project was undertaken, and CBSS organizations across Alberta were consulted on this challenge. The community consultation process resulted in the What We Heard report, and there's a link to that you can click on when you get the PowerPoint. The report captured the strong desire for greater collaboration and coordination within the sector and with other systems, as well as a roadmap outlining the necessary steps to take in the journey to developing a sector. Due to the pandemic, Core Alberta was prioritized as one of the first activities to undertake related to this work due to the critical need for CBSS organizations to communicate, collaborate, and share information during this unprecedented time. With Core Alberta running for close to a year now, our focus has shifted back to executing on the CBSS sector development activities related to a re-engaging community and inviting broader and more active participation from across the province in the development of this initiative. Please stay tuned for upcoming development on this work in the next few weeks. If you'd like to learn more about CBSS sector development or Core Alberta, we invite you to visit the Core Alberta website or connect with the staff team at Healthy Aging at calgaryunitedway.org. This gathering is a great example of how the CBSS sector can come together to find solutions and coordinate around critical issues related to the seniors we serve across the province. So thank you again for being here and for your willingness to invest your time and energy. So before I invite our presenters to share about what age-friendly looks like in their community, I'll provide a brief background on the age-friendly movement. We have a lot to cover today, so this will be a very low-level overview. And I would encourage you again to visit the Core Alberta website for more information. So what is age-friendly? Age-friendly is a model to enable active, healthy aging by focusing on 8 domains of community living. Age-friendly communities help seniors remain engaged in their communities through the development of supportive, built and social environments that facilitate exercise, social connection, and respect for seniors. The journey to become age-friendly employs a bottom-up participatory approach that involves the active participation of citizens of varying ages and abilities in all aspects of planning. The cornerstone of the age-friendly model is the development of a community plan which brings together traditional and non-traditional partners to identify community assets and strengths that facilitate social inclusion of seniors and factors that hinder it. Each age-friendly plan is unique as it addresses that community's specific needs. Implementation can be achieved through small steps initiated by local community members, through more major initiatives that require greater resources and contributions from a broad group of people, or the collaborative efforts of a range of groups. And where did this concept of age-friendly come from? In 2006, in recognition of the significance of the aging population around the globe, the World Health Organization launched the Age-Friendly Cities Project to engage countries across the world in making their cities more age-friendly. This project brought together cities from around the world and gathered information from seniors, senior care providers, and other groups and individuals with an interest in age-friendly communities. This information helped to identify 8 key domains of community life in which communities can become more age-friendly. The World Health Organization continues to encourage and facilitate the creation of age-friendly environments by connecting cities and communities worldwide to facilitate the exchange of information and experience, and supporting cities and communities to find solutions through innovative and evidence-based technical guidance. In Canada, all 10 provinces are promoting age-friendly community initiatives. The Public Health Agency is Canada's liaison with the WHO. PHAC also leads work with other federal, provincial, territorial, and non-government partners through the Pan-Canadian Age-Friendly Communities Reference Group. I'm one of the Alberta members, along with Jean Barkley, councillor with the town of Innisfail, and Carol Ching with Alberta Seniors in Housing. This group provides expert and practical advice to the PHAC regarding Canada's involvement in supporting and advancing age-friendly communities. Alberta Seniors in Housing encourages and supports Alberta communities in becoming age-friendly that provides expertise, resources, and shares best practice to support community-led age-friendly initiatives. This has included working with Strathcona County and the cities of Edmonton and Calgary to create the Alberta Age-Friendly Community of Practice. This community of practice has now joined the Healthy Aging Core Alberta platform, and 2 groups have been formed. The first one's an open discussion group. This group is open to anyone interested in the age-friendly concept or the 8 domains. The focus of this group is disseminating information and providing opportunities to ask questions and share information. Members may or may not be involved in an age-friendly initiative. The second group is the community of practice. The community of practice is designed to help communities that are considering or in the process of developing an age-friendly plan. Members offer support to communities pursuing age-friendly and a mentoring capacity. This group meets regularly, and the members commit to actively support the community of practice. Interested core members can request an invitation to join. If you or someone in your community is interested in pursuing age-friendly or would like more information about the community of practice, please visit the core site to request an invitation to join. And as I mentioned, every community is unique with its own geography, population, and resources. That is one of the strengths of the age-friendly model. It allows communities to address the domains differently and in a way that's meaningful to its citizens. Today, we hear from 2 communities that are very different, not only in their makeup, but where they are with respect to pursuing age-friendly. Our first speaker is Sandy Wacker, Community Supports and Age-Friendly Facilitator at the town of Innisfail. After Sandy, we will hear from Caroline G., the Age-Friendly Coordinator at the Edmonton Seniors Coordinating Council. So Sandy, take it away.
Thanks, Rob. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for having me here. So as Rob said, I am the Community Support and Age-Friendly Facilitator for the town of Innisfail. For those of you who don't know, Innisfail is a small town located between Edmonton and Calgary. According to the 2016 Stats Canada census, we have about 8,000 people in the town, and of that, about 2,300 of them are seniors. So this is saying that about 29% of our population is seniors. Next slide, please. Thank you. In 2016, FCSS initiated a conversation with the town of Innisfail administration. So based on the Stats Canada census and the high rate of our senior population, we wanted to know what our needs were going forward. This conversation with the town administration initiated the 2016 Seniors Needs Assessment. This assessment was meant to identify existing assets and potential concerns to better understand what might be done to prepare the community to support our seniors to age in place. This assessment provided valuable insights about our challenges, barriers, and gaps in availability, accessibility, and awareness of services for older adults in the Innisfail area. Next slide, please. So from that needs assessment, 21% of our population in Innisfail was between the ages of 55 to 69, compared to our provincial average of 16%. So we were 5% above provincial average for that age group. We had 18% of our population was 70 plus, compared to the average population of 10%. So again, we were increased of 8% in that age range. So overall, Innisfail has a 39% population of over 59 citizens, 55 age group, sorry, compared to the provincial average of 26%. So what did this mean for us? So as a municipality, with having such a high percentage of our population being 55 plus, we really wanted to understand what the needs were of our citizens and what were the gaps in services, as almost half of our population would be in that 55+ age group. Next slide, please. So in 2018, the municipality decided to move forward with creating an ad hoc committee to review the seniors' needs assessment, further expand upon it, and make recommendations on how we could move forward. The ad hoc committee consisted of council, community members, seniors, and community partners. The committee met for a total of 1 year, which was 9 meetings. They created recommendations which were brought forward to mayor and council in October of 2019, which included some staffing and financial obligations in order to move us forward. Next slide, please. So at the same point in time, other initiatives were taking place. So separate to the ad hoc committee that was meeting, FCSS worked with other senior serving partners in the community to begin working on some initiatives with the idea of, instead of focusing on what we can't do, they wanted to focus on what we can do. So some of the initiatives that came out of that work were Art from the Heart. This is a program that is designed for people living with early stage dementia. It was a safe place to focus on the joy of creating, a time to relax and socialize, explore memories, gain a sense of accomplishment, and express one's feelings through art. The Town Voice 55+ newsletter is geared towards the 55+ population. They shared upcoming events, information on Innisfail Connects and Movers and Groovers, information on different programs and services in the community, general information, and tips to keep themselves safe. The Movers and Groovers is a free activity group designed for our older adults. It's currently being held over Zoom due to COVID. Sessions are led by an exercise specialist, which focuses on developing cardiorespiratory fitness, muscular strength, muscular endurance, flexibility, and balance. Our dementia-friendly initiatives, there's a community partners and action group was formed with the mission to create a dementia-friendly community. People living with dementia, their care partners, and the communities are given the opportunity to share experiences, stories, give suggestions, and influence the community by changing attitudes regarding dementia. A couple of the initiatives that came out of this were our dementia-friendly resource guide, which was created to offer resources, programs, and services to those living with dementia and their care partners. They also created dementia-friendly resource kits, which were created for supporting agencies and services who may engage with individuals with dementia, especially in times of high need. The Innisfail Connects program is for older adults aged 55+ who are looking for a way to stay in touch with the community through interactive phone and online social health program opportunities. This is also another free of charge program that provides friendly conversation to older adults. Examples are included online bingo, jam sessions, falls prevention information, brain gym, and many other opportunities. Next slide, please. In March of 2020, Karen, who is the Community and Social Developmental Coordinator with the Town of Innisfail, presented a business case plan to Mayor and Council detailing what resources and actions would be required to move forward with the recommendations from the age-friendly report that was presented to them in October of 2019. The municipality made a commitment to becoming an age-friendly community. They hired an age-friendly coordinator in November of 2020, and that's where my position came from. In 2021, so March of this year, Council passed bylaw to create an age-friendly community committee, and we created a terms of reference. Next slide, please. So currently, we are in the process of forming our age-friendly community committee. This committee will consist of council, community partners and businesses, and residents. Once the committee is established, and we're hoping for May of this year, that the committee will come together for the rest of 2021 to create a community action plan with a 3 to 5 year focus. We will need buy-in from the community, which allows for the community at large to be more accountable to the process and to the action items that will be moved forward. We have created a draft organizational chart, which outlines a draft plan of action items. This draft plan highlights the 8 domains of becoming an age-friendly community. From here, we would break into smaller groups and have subcommittees that work on the action plan. So right now I'm in the process of creating that sample community action plan to take forward to the committee when we start meeting, and they can start breaking down some of the action steps that we want to move forward with. So that is where we're at right now. I'm really looking forward to moving forward with our age-friendly community committee, and I can't wait to see where this goes. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sandy. That's great. Great work, Innisfail. And yes, my name is Caroline G, and I am the Age-Friendly Community Connector with the Edmonton Seniors Coordinating Council. And it's great to see, and I'm very excited to be here to share with you a little bit about Age-Friendly Edmonton. As I speak about Age-Friendly Edmonton, please keep in mind that we do come from a bigger city perspective, but some of what I have to share today I hope will be helpful in your context. Next slide. Our involvement in Age-Friendly dates all the way back to 2010, when the World Health Organization recognized the city of Edmonton as a city in the global network of age-friendly cities and communities. Membership in the network really helped to establish the city's commitment to the needs of older Edmontonians. Back in 2012, Edmonton City Council approved the vision for an age-friendly Edmonton action plan to support the implementation of the work plan in the 8 key areas identified by the World Health Organization. Age-Friendly Edmonton became a joint collaboration between the Edmonton Seniors Coordinating Council and the City of Edmonton. We expanded the work by 1 key area, and we call that healthy aging, for a total of 9 areas, as if we didn't have enough work to do. But we were up to the challenge. The plan was ambitious, with a total of 18 goals and 52 key actions. Next slide, please. The first phase of this initiative began in 2013 after the creation of the action plan, a journey that involved multi-sector working groups, community organizations, and dedicated volunteers driven for local action to improve the quality of life for older people in our city. It was truly felt that if you make a city that is age-friendly, then it's good for all ages. The first 5 years of this of Age-Friendly Edmonton is documented in this report shown here on the slide, and can be found on our Edmonton Seniors Coordinating Council website at seniorscouncil.net. Next slide, please. AFE, or Age-Friendly Edmonton, began its journey of the next phase of work in 2018. We conducted community engagements, which helped us to refocus and reprioritize our work into four areas. These 4 areas are supporting aging in place, encouraging intergenerational connections, responding to diversity and inclusion, and reducing ageism. Now it's my pleasure to let this next video presentation do the talking. So this year we created a PowerPoint video that summarizes the work that we've done so far in the second phase. So if I can ask Cindy now to play it for us, that would be great. Thank you.
Welcome to Age-Friendly Edmonton's Year in Review presentation. My name is Glenda Tarnowski, and along with Dr. Anwar Haq, we co-chair Age-Friendly Edmonton. It is a pleasure to present to you our Year in Review. I would like to begin with an acknowledgement of the traditional lands on which Edmonton sits, the territory of the Treaty 6 First Nations and the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 4. Thank you to our diverse Indigenous peoples whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory for centuries. It is truly a privilege to have the opportunity to be part of a collective and to work alongside a group of dedicated volunteers, connected by the desire to create positive and sustainable change and contribute to a city that values, respects, and actively supports the well-being of seniors. We are proud of the numerous projects brought to life by our hardworking team over the past year. These include the Gift of Age video production in recognition of International Day of Older Persons, a second season of our Shared Mic podcast, the Grow Older With Me social media campaign, and the creation of an anti-ageism infographic. Older Edmontonians are an important part of our community. This Year in Review report tells the story of volunteers who have united to build an age-friendly city that recognizes the contributions of Edmonton seniors, as well as recognizing their diverse needs and actively supporting their inclusion, engagement, and well-being. Age-Friendly Edmonton is an initiative that is co-led by the City of Edmonton and the Edmonton Seniors Coordinating Council. This partnership involves responsibility for strategic oversight, project management and coordination, and marketing and communication. The Age-Friendly Edmonton leadership team was created to provide strategic guidance, support the development of annual work plans, and evaluate the measure of success of Age-Friendly Edmonton. Action-oriented hubs are led by champions and changemakers focused on 4 key priority areas: reducing ageism, supporting aging in place, promoting intergenerational connections, and responding to diversity. An administrative team consisting of staff from the City of Edmonton and Edmonton Seniors Coordinating Council provides support to the leadership table and action hubs by working closely with volunteers to help fulfill the vision and mission of the initiative. Taking a look at the numbers, several projects were completed, including the training of pilots to operate trishaws to provide rides to seniors, the completion of Knowledge Action Projects, a Seniors Connect event to provide resource information to seniors, and the creation of 16 podcast episodes that garnered over 1,000 downloads. Overall, Age-Friendly Edmonton volunteers contributed over 4,000 hours of their time to projects this past year. Now let's take a closer look at what we did. Aging in Place focused on supporting seniors to age in their community. This included Age-Friendly Edmonton sponsorship of forums to support older adults to connect with vital resources to support healthy aging. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Age-Friendly Edmonton sponsored a virtual seniors forum that brought together hundreds of attendees to obtain information and resources pertaining to health, wellness, and social supports vital to aging in place. What are our housing options as we age? Traditionally, we either age in our homes, downsize into a smaller dwelling, or move into a seniors housing residence. But what if there was another way? Age-Friendly Edmonton is interested in gaining a better understanding of housing options, as well as innovative approaches to the design and delivery of housing for older adults. As our aging population has become more diverse, Age-Friendly Edmonton recognizes the need to support and help create spaces that are welcoming and affirming for older adults. The behind-the-scenes work by the Diversity Hub laid the foundation for a research project focused on designing a diversity index that can be used by organizations to reflect on organizational readiness and capacity to implement welcoming and inclusive practices and policies. A campaign during Seniors Week called Grow Older With Me was launched to capture stories from seniors on growing older. In the fall of 2020, with assistance from the University of Alberta Community Service Learning students, Age-Friendly Edmonton engaged a more diverse seniors population to broaden the range of experiences and highlight the intersectionality of ageism and racism in Edmonton. These stories are currently being compiled and will be shared in the future. As the world felt the impacts of the pandemic and movements surged to elevate voices of BIPOC citizens, Age-Friendly Edmonton continued to unite in new and innovative ways to support seniors' well-being in the community. Additionally, the Age-Friendly Edmonton team conducted internal discussions on racism and hosted an anti-racism training session facilitated by the Centre for Race and Culture. This was not only done to educate ourselves, but to help guide and inform our work. Age-Friendly Edmonton's Intergenerational Hub created a new one-of-a-kind podcast called The Shared Mic, Conversations for the Ages. This unique podcast brought together people of different ages and stages of life for rich conversations. A wide range of themes and topics were explored. As an example, Season 2 featured a conversation between father and son musicians, Gord and Travis Matthews. They discussed Edmonton's music scene and the role technology has played in opening new doors and helping them to overcome unexpected changes. A total of 16 podcasts have been launched since February 2020 and can be accessed online at thesharedmic.blueberry.net or on any podcast platform such as Google, Apple, or Spotify. Podcasts have become mainstream in recent years, but for those who may not have tried this new medium, we thought it would be useful to develop an easy-to-follow how-to guide to help audiences to become more familiar and comfortable with accessing podcasts. A whole new world of getting information right at your fingertips. Age-Friendly Edmonton's Ageism Hub focused on projects to promote positive and accurate depictions of aging, to address ageism, the prejudice and discrimination against individuals based on their age. The Ageism Hub released an infographic on ageism and its impacts. Countering ageism is both necessary and good for our health. In fact, holding positive perceptions of aging can increase our lifespan by a whopping 7.5 years. You might be surprised how ageist thinking creeps into our everyday language. Phrases like over the hill, young at heart, can't teach an old dog new tricks are all common idioms that undermine seniors by assigning a negative value to older age. It's time we embrace aging for the gift that it is. Age-Friendly Edmonton also purchased and supported the training of trishaw operators to provide rides to seniors living in Edmonton. Trishaws are a form of motorized tricycle with a front passenger compartment for riders. With the assistance of the community, volunteer pilots were recruited to provide trishaw rides at Zoominescence, an annual event held at the Edmonton Valley Zoo. Here is a video that captures the fun and highlights of this event in 2019. We are grateful for the continued support from the City of Edmonton and Councillor Andrew Knack, a champion for seniors in our community and advocate for Age-Friendly Edmonton. On October 1st, Edmonton City Council recognized International Day of Older Persons, with a protocol item read by Councillor Andrew Knack. The city recommitted to the Edmonton Seniors Declaration and unveiled the refreshed Gift of Age statement crafted by Alice Major, Edmonton's former Poet Laureate, in collaboration with members of Age-Friendly Edmonton's leadership table. Age is a gift to a city, allowing us to connect with the generations before, to learn the stories that brought us here.
Great, thank you very much, Cindy. The video was just a tad too long for the amount of time that we had allotted to us. So if you want to see the last couple of minutes of the video, I can put the link in the chat box. So there's about a minute and a half left in the video. So thank you for that. Thank you for listening. And now I'll turn things over to Carol Ching, Policy Analyst with Alberta Seniors and Housing. Thanks very much for listening.
Great. Thanks, Caroline, and good morning, everyone. I just want to say, first off, thank you for those presentations, and I hope that everybody gets a good sense of the diversity within age-friendly communities and the difference in communities. And I think that's, as Rob said, one of the strengths of the age-friendly concept or model is that each community will develop its own plan and its own path forward, depending on what the community needs and resources are and the makeup. So as we saw with Innisfail, you've got a smaller community with a very high population of 55 and up, and then checking to see, you know, what would make a community more age-friendly for their citizens. And then as they move forward to develop their plan, developing it based on what their community has said, what resources are available, and focusing in on those key areas, and doesn't necessarily have to be all 8 domains, but whatever is unique to that community. So excited to see as Innisfail continues to do that work. And for Edmonton, who's been on this path for a long time, it just really demonstrates that, you know, how much work has happened over the years, but also how things have evolved, where in the beginning, you know, the plan was a little bit different. And now as they've had their impact with municipal programs, and a lot of things have changed just within how work is done and how people view things when they're doing their work, if they're planning, whether it's the built environment or programs, to now think about the older adult as they're doing that, and just the impact and the power that there is with volunteers, community people coming together and supporting this work. And so just how many people have been involved in supporting age-friendly Edmonton over the years. And I would just encourage people that are listening that if this excites you, if there's something within you that you want to tap into, I would, you know, recommend that you reach out to people in your community to want to see, is there initiative already happening in your community? And if there is, how you can get involved and how you can support that. Because as they say, many hands make for light work, and it makes for a lot of fun. And so I would just encourage you to do that. One of the ways too that I think will help you in doing that, and I'm excited about the core groups that we have. So just to recap what Rob said, we've developed 2 groups on core, and one is the general open discussion group. So we'll be sharing information on there based specifically on the age-friendly concept and model, but also information linked to the domains, whether it's transportation, community supports, social inclusion, those types of things. And having some discussion on there for folks who just are interested in the different aspects of age-friendly. And then if you're in a community where you've got yourself or some folks who want to take that other step forward and look at how you can get a group together to do a community assessment, get a committee going, and explore developing a plan, please contact us through the request and invitation for the community practice group. And the folks that are on there are fantastic, and they're very knowledgeable from different communities from across the province with all kinds of background and expertise. And we meet regularly to share that information and expertise and support each other. And so I would just encourage you to request an invite for that. For the next 15 so minutes, we have an opportunity. We wanted to make sure we left time for question and discussion. And so this can be a little tricky sometimes when we've got, you know, around 60 people on. So if you want to put your hand up in the chat or ask a question in the chat, I'd be monitoring that. Oh, pardon me. So you can either just say, hey, I have a question, and I'll call on you, and you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question, or if you want to type the question in the chat, you can. And I will do that.
Carol,
Yep.
Sorry, I just realized that I can't put my hand up because I'm one of the co-hosts.
Oh, okay.
So if I just like wave and then butt in, I hope you don't mind.
Yes, I can see you, Rob. The thing is, I can't see everybody else.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
So, oh, here we go. Here we go. Thank you, Cindy. So now I can see more faces. And there we are. Love technology. There. So if people want to raise their hand or wave like this, I will do my best to get to everybody. Before I do that, I will just cover a couple things that were asked in the chat prior. So following Sandy's presentation on Innisfail, somebody asked, the 39% is the total over 55 in the town of Innisfail of total population out of the 8,000, or is it the stat reflective of the entire county? And Karen was nice enough to respond to let Arlene know that it's that Innisfail, but that's Innisfail specifically, not the county.
Right.
And then there was also another question around the coordinator position for Innisfail and who funds that. And Sandy responded that the Innisfail age-friendly coordinator is hired through the municipality. So, and you'll notice too that in every situation that can be very different, and it's the same across provinces. In Saskatchewan, for example, their age-friendly is not led by the provincial government, but by the Saskatchewan Seniors Mechanism. And in Manitoba, it's the Manitoba Association of Senior Centers. In BC, it's the BC government. So there's different ways of doing things. And then we have another question here, and this would be for Caroline. If you could, is there a link to the diversity index that was created? And can you put that in the chat for folks? That would be
the diversity index, we actually are still working on it, and we partnered with the Edmonton Social Planning Council on it. It's just on hold right now. We came up with some difficulties during COVID. We really wanted to do the focus groups in person and one-on-one, and we felt that that the richness of the conversations we wouldn't get the richness of the conversations through doing it online and through virtual platforms. So currently it's on hold. We're waiting for things to improve in the hopes that we can get going again, maybe in the summer, as COVID you know, as things start to improve. So that's where the diversity index is currently. So thanks for asking the question.
okay, great. I see Ruby has her hand up. So Ruby, I'll let you unmute and ask the question, and then I have one from Linda in the comments.
So I'm on the St. Albert Seniors Advisory Committee, and we looked at these the guidelines and achieving this designation as set out by the World Health Organization. So I guess my question is, are all these cities working towards having that age-friendly city designation, or they're just doing it on their own, not looking for that designation, but using the World Health Organization guidelines as your base?
Okay. Do you want me, I'll jump in and provide some response, and then I'll let anybody else on that wants to supplement that as well. And in addition to Rob and Sandy and Caroline, there's other members of the community of practice on, so members feel free to add to that. The recognition, some communities are going towards developing a plan which would then enable them to be recognized as pursuing age-friendly, which would also, so you would be recognized by the province, which then I trigger to the Public Health Agency of Canada, which then, because there are liaison, they connect with the WHO Global Network. So if a community chooses, because there's milestones across Canada, there's 4 milestones, and that's to create a committee, do a community assessment, have a council resolution, and develop a plan. So if you do those 4 steps, then you can be acknowledged and recognized as pursuing age-friendly. You don't have to do that. If a community wants to do it a little bit differently, they can. I mean, this is in line with the age-friendly model, but we certainly have communities that are on the community of practice who are wanting to pursue or in that direction, but not all the way there. And does that help, Ruby? And does anybody have anything they want to supplement? Rob?
Thanks a lot, Carol. So Ruby, the other thing too is that I think most of us that are part of the community of practice that either completed a plan or in the process are willing to help the other communities. So we're willing to spend some time and have a discussion with you about our process and share our plan with you and share the research that we've done. I know the one that we've completed in Lethbridge, I've shared that with another couple of municipalities. One of the things that for those of you that are representing municipalities or community groups is to understand is that now our age-friendly plan in Lethbridge is considered as part of all our other master planning in the community. So when we do the Parks and Pathways master plan, and when then we do our new municipal development plan and the transit master plan and the transportation master plan and the culture and recreation, then we're asking and actually demanding that they reference some of the things that we've discovered in the development of our plan in those other plans. So really in the city council's strategic planning document, it references age-friendly communities. In our municipal development plan, it'll reference how we want to become more age-friendly. So I think that's the benefit to municipalities is that we hear this from those of us that are on the Pan-Canadian group, which Carolyn Bergeron from the Public Health Agency of Canada has joined us today. And welcome, Carolyn. One of the things that we hear from Saanich, who's one of the first age-friendly communities in Canada, is that age-friendly considerations are taken for just about everything they do in the city of Saanich right now. They don't even have to make a reference to it. It's expected that everything they do in terms of development and initiatives reflect age-friendly principles.
Great. So does that cover it for you, Ruby?
Yes, thank you. That's very helpful. Very helpful.
Awesome. Great. Thanks. Thanks, Rob. Okay, we have some more questions popping into the chat here. So Linda had a question, and these questions are quite varied, which is great, all kinds of things. So her concern is about ageism within faith communities. Does anyone else have similar concerns? Are there any other faith communities represented here this morning? And feel free to unmute yourself and just let us know, or if you want to add something in the chat. And Linda, if you want to supplement your question or anything, feel free to unmute and do that.
So I'm from Westlock, and I'm involved with a dementia-friendly community initiative there. But I also, since January 5th, am the pastoral care worker at Westlock Alliance. And a lot of the reasons in that position was to reach out to our senior population. But my concern is about ageism, especially when I heard the comment about young at heart. And that just immediately put up that, whatever sign shall I say, because for years, our seniors group has been called young at heart. And for me, it has been a tug from the beginning, because I think it somehow minimizes what we're really all about. Somehow that we have to be entertained.
Yes. Yeah. Caroline or anyone, does anybody have a comment, or John? John is from Calgary. Go ahead, John.
I'm with Age Friendly Calgary. You know, you're opening up a can of worms where we could be here all day talking about ageism and the impact it has and people's perceptions of it. It's a real challenging thing because it's been part of our culture for so long, and it's a constant work at slow moving process. So just like you're saying, you highlight those kinds of things and bring it back to groups of people and try to figure out how we work on that. That's what we do at Age Friendly Calgary. That's what we do as part of the community of practice in the province. We take issues like this and we try to figure out how are we going to respond to them provincially and with our own community. It's a challenge for sure. It's a real one.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Linda, and raising that. We appreciate that. And thank you, John, for your response. Okay, I see Monica has her hand up, so I'm going to jump to you, Monica, and then I'll go to a couple more comments in the chat. Go ahead, Monica.
Yeah, I work with Westcott, and we have sometimes that same kind of problem with bringing the different religions and try to go into the community and say, okay, we have seniors here, and we want them to have the opportunity. They are Catholic, this is because the communities sometimes are not big enough So we have been having that challenge as well, to bring to our residents the different options for them and for them to choose what is, so if they are Catholic or they are another denominations, to have that opportunity. But we have been having that issue as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Monica. Yeah, and just speaking to that diversity within the older population, and that's one of the things too, with the age friendly is helping people understand at all different levels and different ways that seniors are not a harmonious group where they're not all the same. And so they have different needs, different desires, and even within different communities. So a community that lives in a rural area, they probably have different priorities than one that lives in downtown Edmonton. So that's why the community assessment, I think, is so important, because it gives each community an opportunity to tap into what their senior citizens are looking for, and then also what resources they have. And there's a lot of seniors that can help support this work, or older Albertans, right? So thank you for that. So in our chat box, we also have a comment from Arlene. And can anybody speak to the "that won't work" mentality? Because we never hear that.
Carol, Ralph had a question before that.
Oh, you're right. Yes, thank you, Rob. Sorry, Ralph. Hi, Ralph. Ralph wanted to know, is there any interface between age-friendly communities and the Blue Zones initiative? And I'm going to have to say, Ralph, I am not familiar with Blue Zones, so I don't know if anybody else is, or if you can provide us a little bit more background what that is. Rob, are you familiar with Blue Zones?
Oh, we are. In fact, we're part of our implementation of our plan that we've recruited. Well, we've recruited some people from, I think it's called Lethbridge Healthy Community Group or whatever. Anyway, they're part of the Blue Zone, where this was trying to make a healthier community. That's, John, is that pretty much it? They're trying to develop a healthier lifestyle, healthier community in general. So they're actually going to be a part of our plan implementation, and they're involved also with the college's Fit for Life program.
The Blue Zone historically comes from places in the world where older adults live extraordinary long lives because of their the environment that they're in, and they're identified in certain areas around the world. Around the Mediterranean, there's an example of that. And so the concept behind that is to provide environments where people can age successfully. So that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. But there are designated Blue Zones in the world because of that experience.
Yeah, John, Ralph Hubely here. There was an article in National Geographic a few years back that they basically described a number of the ones. Like there's one in Okinawa in Japan, and there's one in California. So I think it's one of the San Clemente or something like that. Italy, yeah, and yeah, again, basically looking at what things can be done in the community to improve them, to allow for that successful aging. And as mentioned, Airdrie had started it up, but when COVID hit, they sort of put it on a back burner.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for your question, Ralph, and nice to see you. I know Ralph's been around for a long time, and it's wonderful to have you on with us today, Ralph. So our next question, again, I'll just jump back into this, and we're not going to be able to cover everything, but just so you know, I will, we'll wrap this up in a couple of minutes and give Cindy a chance to close off the meeting for us. But the question was that won't work mentality. And they speak to specifically to a particular initiative within the community. But does anybody want to sort of tackle that in general? Because I think we run into this from all different perspectives. And if anybody that's on the age-friendly community of practice wants to say, give any hints or any tips on how to get people on board, what you've done to, I guess, encourage people in a certain direction or change their minds that something will work rather than it won't work. So I'll open the floor to our community of practice folks if anybody wants to speak to that.
I can speak to some of that because I've seen that at times. I find the successful approach to that is to go back to figure out what the problem is and then saying, well, if this won't work, how else can we respond to this issue or problem so that we can solve it and move forward with it? Because if there's an attitude, something's not going to work, there's no point in just beating it to death and trying to convince people go back to the problem. And I think I know, like, because some of us, we have strategies in place where we're trying to say, what are we trying to solve or define? What's it going to take to do that? And try to work from that perspective. And sometimes we go down a road and it doesn't work for a million reasons. And one could be what you're saying. And then, so we would go back and saying, well, how else can we respond to this so that we can solve this issue? Because these are complicated issues. If they weren't, we wouldn't be doing this stuff. It would get fixed because we know what the problems are.
Yeah. Okay. Sandy's got her hand up, and then Rob, if you've got something you want to add. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to add to that there's always going to be reasons why it doesn't work, but continually going back to the drawing table to brainstorm other ideas, like John was saying, like, we can't just stop at, well, this isn't going to work because of A. We need to go back and figure out, okay, well, then what are some other ideas because we have an unmet need. So if we have unmet needs, we need to brainstorm ideas on how to get those needs met. So there has to be a way, and we just need to continually brainstorm new ways to make sure that need gets met.
Thanks, Sandy. Rob? And
certainly it's a mindset, as John said earlier. This is one of those things that we could spend hours and hours talking about how to overcome the attitudinal changes and the way that people just think in general. It's easier to say, well, that won't work, than to look for solutions. And believe me, I sit on Lethbridge City Council as well as work in a seniors organization. I hear a lot of, that won't work. That's my life.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And we're just running to close here. So I just want to, say, and with regards to individual programs or things that initiatives, tapping into what other communities are doing and looking for evidence that demonstrates that it's working well and there's a benefit to seniors and sharing that. Also, just a note here from Cindy, who's doing our coordinator here, and just to let you know, if you have any questions that we did not get to answering today, you can stick around and stay on the Zoom, and our speakers will connect with you. So we'll stick on for a few minutes, but this is the end, the formal end. So I'm just going to pass this over to Cindy, and thank you, everyone. This is fantastic.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I would just quickly like to go over some of the things to wrap up today. So after the session, we will send a follow-up email with a link to a core post, which will house the session's recording and contact information of our speakers and hosts. The email will also contain a link to the survey that we hope you can fill out. I also left it in the chat box in case you wanted to fill it out now. Lastly, the email will also invite anyone who would like to be part of these core age-friendly groups so that we can continue these conversations and work together to develop and support age-friendly communities. Thank you so much for sharing the space with us today, and we wish you a lovely rest of your day. As Carol mentioned, if you do want to stick around to ask some remaining questions, please feel free to do so. For the rest of you, I will wave goodbye.
Awesome job, Cindy.
Great.